Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, October 30th, Halloween Eve. Ha, 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 ha. And today we will cover Rody. All right. What is Rody? Well, Rody is the cricket. Hence the thumbnail, which I think it's a cricket in the thumbnail. I don't know. I had AI do it. Now he has wings. So I figured it kind of works, makes him a little more powerful. But yeah, Rody is the cricket that always hung out with us in the garage when we used to make videos on our phone every morning in the garage at 5 a.m. He would be there, and eventually he would turn into his own fund. So here we are. When we say his own fund, again, I'm moving towards, I guess I'll say, options trading galore. I'm making my account almost 100% options trades, which means I'm doing all the options trades, but I'm learning all new strategies. And along the way, obviously, I'm just going to share what I know, share how I'm doing, and see how it's going. Of course, that will not stop me from covering the other options ETFs, which I'm still doing, and I will still do because I do love doing that. I just had to slow down a little bit because I was doing it way too much, and it was becoming we'll say a job more so than fun. So, hence the revamp to the channel. So here we are. We'll cover Rody in a sec, but before, as you know, I pull up Bitcoin. We just want to see how it's doing for the day. Again, this is through CoinMarketCap. If anyone has a suggested better website, I think this is pretty much, a good one. But they're at 110 as of right now. Was this yesterday? 1029. They're at what, 113, and then here it dipped down to 108. This was at midnight. So people selling at midnight. Again, who knows where in the world, right? But whatever. It's at 110. Okay, so nothing too exciting there. All right, so let's get into the beginning tab. Let me zoom in. Probably have to do 150, and I will pay attention to the live chat as we go, because again, this is more of an interactive discussion too, because I want to make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So I have the definitions here. I'm not going to go through these every single video, but they are here. Because again, when you think of options, you think of buy call, buy put, sell call, sell put. All right, that's it. Once you understand what each of them does, it'll make your life a little easier. Again, if you're trying to learn options, and then I'm starting to set up my own rules as far as this this one strategy goes. And when I say this one strategy, think of it like a poor man's covered call. For those of you, well, it's kind of like a yield. Think of it like a YieldMax play, if you're familiar with YieldMax, with protection on the downside. All right, or a poor man's covered call with a savings. So what does that mean? Well, it means, again, you're opening a synthetic combo, which is a buy call sell put, same strike, same expiration, and the idea is you're doing it at the money. So when you do it at the money, typically the call is a little more expensive than the put, but however, the put does offset most of the expense, because the typical poor man's covered call, all they're doing is buying a call. They're buying a long call, and then they sell calls on that long call. That's typically what you see on the poor man's covered call. But when you buy call when you buy a call and you sell a put, same strike, same expiration, you're essentially saving yourself a lot of money, because that call is not cheap, right? Buying a long call for far expiration, not cheap, brah, not cheap. So that's why we sell the put. However, when you sell the put, although, yeah, that gives you credit, that's wonderful, right? But it also now brings the downside risk, right? Because there is a downside. When you're just buying the call, all your max risk is the expense of the call, right? Which again, that's expensive. But when you sell the put, now you have the risk is the full, downside of that underlying, which who knows, it can go to zero, right? So there's your risk, the full downside now of that underlying, where no matter where it goes. So that being said, we do add now, Roddy does want his protection because he's a little cricket, anyone can step on him at any time, and market can go red at any time. So we do a protective put, right? Basically, we buy a put. All right. So why do we buy a put? Because in case the underlying tanks, then there's a limitation to the damage, to the bleeding, to the suffering. All right. So when that big ugly foot comes down on Roddy, there is little strong man coming up holding it down, holding it, right? So there is a bodyguard, there is protection, and there is a limit to the damage. And the limit is the gap, or the difference in strike price between the call strike, oh no, the sell put strike minus the buy put strike, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if I lost everyone yet. I didn't even plan on breaking this down like this, but I'll just keep going unless anyone has questions. So that basically creates what I'm calling a synthetic collar, synthetic combo collar, or chickadee diggity dang dang. Again, we make up our own names here. There's really whatever. Again, it's just you want people to know what the hell you're talking about, but at the same time, it's like whatever. I'll make up my own names, or we just call it Roddy. This is the Roddy. This is the Roddy. All right. I see SB in the crowd. Everyone should give him a huge shout out because he's the one that he's been telling me about doing this probably as long as I've been covering YieldMax, and I've been shutting them down because I wasn't ready. And I finally am ready again, basically once I kind of got rid of the extreme daily coverage. Now that I have a little more time in my hands, I am able to learn. But yeah, I always want to give him a shout out for, he's still helping me. Anyway, as far as expiration date, I'm mostly trading like regular stocks, believe it or not. I'm not actually doing leverage yet, I'll say. So which means I'm going to choose an expiration date, probably 6 months or more. The further you go out, the more expensive it is to buy that long call. You have to keep that in mind too. Also, when you get to, if you're depending on what stock you pick, the higher, the more expensive the stock, well, you're going to be paying more in that option. But you'll see as you pick from there. And I have over here, which I talked about in the other video, when you buy a call and sell a put with the same strike and the same expiration, the idea is the delta between the two would add up to 1. All right. 1. What is delta? Delta is the price movement, dollar as much. Well, if this wasn't a 1, like if it was 0.5, it would be how much this option moves with the underlying for each dollar. So if SoFi moved up $1, the option would move up 50 cents. But since this is a delta of 1, it's going to move up dollar per dollar or down dollar per dollar. That's the idea of a delta 1. When they say delta 1, you're always, you're typically like, all right, whatever, just shut up, stop talking to me. Everyone in their fancy little options jargon. I'm with you, man. I am with you. I think it's annoying, and I kind of know options, but I just feel like, all right, just because when you don't know what people are talking about, you're like, bro, leave me alone. But you have to give it a chance. You have to eventually give in, and it is good to learn about it. But anyway, let's move on. I'm starting to make a new watch list of, we'll say, I'm not going to say not degenerate funds, but less degenerate. And it's only less degenerate because it doesn't have leverage, at least on the actual ticker. These are the actual tickers of the companies. I started this with Open Door only because it's so damn cheap, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So once, you do that first trade, you're like, what the hell? So I did it on a cheap one just because I'm a chicken. And then I'm starting to add others. So you'll see I added SoFi, I added E.L.F, I added Robinhood. I added Robinhood yesterday, and I want to add Palantir, but I mean, that thing won't stop. It's freaking going up. Like, look at this. Look at the 52-week low. Oh my goodness, $40. And in fact, Meta's tanking today. So I want to be, oh, now that works. How come it doesn't work? What's going on there? Let me hit refresh. Oh, there you go. So yeah, you could see the IVs because you still want some IV. So Meta, It's dropping. Typically, yeah, I want to start this position when it is cheap, when it's down, because eventually I do want some growth out of this. I'm going to handle all of these a little differently. Some are going to be more aggressive on the income side. Some are going to be more on the growth and income side. But again, I'm learning as I go. Keep in mind, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So don't even try, just try to pick up little bits and pieces from what I'm talking about. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But again, I'm just trying to share as I go, so we can both learn together. All right. So let's talk about open. I have not added to the synthetic, so I'm not going to repeat myself on that. I have some covered calls that expire, Friday. So let's pull up. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up open. We can see the pre-market. All right, so they're down. They're at actually 750 in the pre-market. All right, so I have 4 covered calls: 750, 8, 850, 9. 750 is my lowest strike, and it's so far so good. But again, we'll see how it goes. The idea, when you have a poor man's covered call, you don't physically own shares. So you got to be careful when you're selling calls, because you could get early assigned. And guess what? When you're early assigned, they have no shares to take, but the broker should give you at least a day to figure that all out, which I haven't run into yet. But if I do, obviously I will share. But, the thought is I would essentially take, like, if this 750 got assigned today, I'll just, maybe sell out of my synthetic position, that one contract, and I'll use that money to pay for this. Or I'll just use cash in my account to buy the shares and then let that get called away. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I'll figure it out as it goes. But these are pretty safe. You can see they're all out of the money. This is in the money, but it's open just continues to take shits and drop. It's not moving. And I'm not even scared about this, these strikes, because they're just whatever. I'll go in the freaking money with this, and I'll just you got to dare it to move up, because it's not been moving up. And then I got some calls for next week, 850 and 9. What I've been doing is I've been pretty much just rolling to the same strike the following week or the week after to capture more premium. So you can see I've captured about $673 in options premium on open. So now we will go to the holdings. So you can see here, I didn't plug in the current value of the synthetic, actually. Whoops, I knew I was missing something, All right, hold on a second. All right. Is everyone awake? Should I pull up Thinkorswim? All right, give me a second here. Good morning. Good morning. Font size large. All right, I'm going to move this to the big screen. There we go. All right, make this a little bigger. All right, so if we pull up open, oh boy, we got a lot going on here. Make this a little bigger. We want to see the mark. So we have what? We have a buy call, $8 strike, right? 6 contracts. What is it worth? Buy call, $8 strike. Where the hell is it? Up here. 6 contracts. All right, there it is. What is it worth? It's worth 2.925. All right. So I plug that in here, 2.925. Why do I want to know that? Well, if I sold it today, how much is it worth? It's worth these 6 contracts, $1,755. I paid 1983, so I'm actually down. So the synthetic position is down. When we sing Gold Digger, yeah, Gold digger, not quite gold digger yet, but gold digger for my bankroll, not YieldMax bankroll. All right, so now we're going to look at the sell put and see what that's worth if we closed it today. You know, that would be a buy to close. So where the hell are we at? Okay, $8 put. There it is. It's worth 305. So you plug that in right here. Again, that's a negative number because that's how much we'd have to pay to close it. So if we wanted to close this today, we'd be paying $1,830, which is actually cheaper than the credit that we got. So this is up 4% profit. All right. Am I going too slow? You guys can let me know. Then we got a buy put. What's the hell is the buy put worth? 177. Okay. So you plug in 177 here. And then you can see, okay, so our overall position is down $213. All right. So that's fine. Again, the plan is we're just going to make money on the calls. You know, you want this to be in a profitable position. If not, you know, whatever. And again, why do you do poor man covered calls? Typically to save on capital. So I do, for every trade, I do show that now capital saved. So if I was, you know, wheeling this essentially, you know, the number of based on the number of contracts, I would have to shell out $4,800. However, you know, since we'll take that number and then we'll subtract out the expense on the synthetic plus the spread, which is obviously where is it? You know, the put difference, which is the collateral that they're going to hold. And that's $2,400 savings. So that's $2,400 extra dollars that I have in my account. All right. All right. Anyway, what else we got here? Let's move on. Let's go to SoFi. So SoFi, interesting play here. Yesterday, the Fed, you know, wanted to talk about interest rates. I wanted to make a trade all day. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I wait? Do I go? I don't freaking know. I ended up doing adding to the synthetic though, because I like SoFi and I wanted to get more of SoFi. In fact, let's just see what the pre-market is leading us to. Okay, so they're red in the pre-market. They're at $30. So if I go back here, where is it? So I added to the synthetic. In fact, I added a new synthetic position. Same expiration as the current one, though, but I did essentially buy a call and sell a put at 31. Because if I did it at 26, which was the current synthetic, it would be very expensive. So I did it at the, you know, at the money. And again, I had to buy a put for lower down, which again, back to the 20% rule, kind of 20% away. All right. So I see a question. TSLL. I'm still wheeling TSLL. I will cover the wheel towards the end of the video. But right now we're just on Rody. All right. So total synthetic expense, the whole thing, $2,200. Now we get to the calls. So far, how many synthetic positions do I have on SoFi? Well, let's check here. So we go here and we go here. All right. So you could see +3 and then +2. So I have 5. I have 5 synthetic positions and I have any of these rolling order. Yeah. So I didn't grade that out. All right. This is from last week, I think. All right, so I have 4 calls. So I have one more call to sell today. I was hoping for a little green yesterday, but I did not get it. But anyway, so for this Friday, I have a 27, a 28, and a 30. These are in danger of getting assigned because they are in the money. The 27 and the 28 are in the money. The 30 is debatable, right? Again, we saw it. It's above 30, but barely. And it's, I don't know, but let's just, well, it's in the money still, but let's go back. Hold on. What did we close at? 30.90. Oh, here it is. No, in the money, in the money, in the money. So all 3 are in the money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll these into next week, probably today. Low, deep in the money first, like the highest in the money, 12%. Again, you don't want these to get assigned because then it's going to ruin up my trade, and I'm going to have to shuffle things around. But so I'll do that. I'll roll one or all three of these today into next week, and we'll see what I do with the strike. I may keep the same strike because I may believe SoFi, it's kind of in this range, so we can utilize it and collect the most premium that we can. All right, so far for SoFi, I have collected 669 in premium. And again, that'll be shown on the last page when we see, like, how are we doing on the overall position? Are we in a profit or not? And then here, again, now we have two synthetic positions, which makes this even more complicated, right? So now I'm going to update the value, of the synthetic position. So let's see. So let's see what the 26 buy call is worth on SoFi. The 26 call is worth 905. Damn, brah. Damn. So if you plug that in, you could see that this is in a really good spot. It's worth, in fact, $2,715. You can see I paid $1,971. So the long call is already up 37%. So that's good. Now let's look at the sell put. Again, that was a $26 strike. Should be down here. There it is, right? That will cost 3.425 to close. So I'll plug that in here. 3.425. And again, this is a profit as well, because again, the stock has been going up. The buy, call, sell, put, bullish plays, right? So if it goes up, good for both. The put, however, is probably worth a little less. So let's see what the buy put for 23 bucks is worth. Let's see right here, 23 bucks. It's worth 2.185. All right. So if I sold this today, I would get $2.18 per share. But you could see I did pay $3.29. So of course, this part of the trade will be down, but it's just there for protection. We're not really trying to make money on the put. If we do, it's protecting us from the downside. And then of course I did add to the synthetic here. So what is my call worth? My buy call 2 contracts, 31 strike. I go here. Buy call 2's contracts. It's 662. 662. It's actually worth more than when I paid. That's good. So I am up on this position. And then the sell put, let's see, was it worth 31? 640. So if I were to close it, this actually I'm down on because it would cost more to close than the credit that I got. But whatever, man. Again, we're just showing the current value. This thing expires on May 15th, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. Buy put, 2 contracts, 25 bucks. This should be at the top because it's a buy with the plus at the top. Buy put, 25 bucks, 302. It's worth 302. 302. So it's actually worth more than when I paid for it. So this is the current synthetic position. This is where we stand. Again, I got rid of the call detail because that's pointless. I'm not going to do that every single week. But yeah. And then as far as capital saved, you could see if I was wheeling SoFi directly, the actual stock, I'd be paying out my ass essentially. But now that I'm doing, this, you could see how much I'm saving. Like I'm basically with these 5 contracts, I have extra capital. I have 9,696 bucks that I could do whatever I want with, right? I could buy AMC, I could buy GameStop, I could buy Bitcoin, I could buy whatever I want. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but you could do whatever. Anyway, SB is saying something. What are you saying, SB? If the 30 gets assigned, they will pay you $3,000 first. Then you decide how to finish it. Yeah. So the call for the 30 he's talking about on the SoFi call, where is it? If that gets assigned first. Yeah, but I doubt that would get assigned first before the 27 and the 28 though. But yeah, they would pay you, and then I guess, like he said, you could use that money to cover the position. But I would like to, I'm gonna try to keep it clean, and like if that got called away, that got early assigned, I would take one contract and close it just to learn. Not that I need to do it that way, but it would just be for learning, because I want to keep these 1-to-1, if that makes sense. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Just keep buying Bitcoin, right? All right, so that's it. So that's the holdings for SoFi. All right, E.L.F. Good old E.L.F. So I added this play this week on, what is this date all screwed up? 10/28. This was a somewhat of an earnings play. I think this was an SB daughter play, right? I think you gave your daughter credit for this trade. But yeah, so the trade was oh, it's still, earnings still didn't happen, but the trade was same thing: buy call, sell put, buy put. And the idea was, again, we'll utilize the IV over earnings, mainly for the short call, which we'll get into in a second. But here's the expense. We chose, and this was in the money at the time. Yeah, kind of in the money, but in the end, whatever. We paid $653 for the synthetic. However, if you check out here, right, look how much I made on the covered call. I did sell a covered call over earnings, 11.7, and it paid me $978. So this credit is greater than the expense of the synthetic. So I actually made money in opening this position. However, yes, of course, there's risk. There is downside risk. So, it's we'll get into that in a second, but this is a new play, which you'll see right here. What is the downside risk? It's the spread. It's the spread between the strikes of the sell put and the buy put, which I have over here too. $2,500, $25 times 100 shares. I'm doing one contract because this is not a cheap stock. So I'm just doing one simple contract. It's probably also easier to follow. But anyway, let's see what the current value is, because E.L.F's been doing pretty good. And then actually, let's check pre-market first. We always want to see what's going on. Sorry if this is boring to some of you, but I think it's interesting to learn yourself for sure. I mean, it's fun, and it's easy to pay fund managers, but it's also good to learn yourself. All right, they're up a little in the pre-market. They're at 127. If I go back here, you can see our strikes at 125. So it's above our strike. All right, now let's take a look and see what it's worth. So we're going to go to E.L.F, and we're going to see what the call is worth. There's not going to be as many trades here, as you can see. So the buy call is worth $16.55. All right, $16.55 per share. So I'm up 2% on the long call. So that's good, right? That's good. That's good. All right. Anyway, what else? Sell put. What's that thing worth? Where the hell is it? Sell put. There it is. 1340. 1340. Okay. So I would have to pay $13.40 to close the put. Not that I'm closing it, but at least, it's in a profit as well. And then, of course, you see what the buy put is now worth, because you paid money to buy the put. If I sold it, how much would I get? I would get 4.075. 4.075. All right. So that would be down, because, of course, when you buy a put and the stock price goes up, the put is not going to be as valuable. But again, good. I don't care. It's just there to protect our asses should it tank, especially over earnings. All right. Anyway, so that's the position. And again, back to the savings. How much did we save on this play? $9,347. Because again, if I sell a put on E.L.F, it's $125 per share. One contract would hold $12,500 in collateral. However, I spent, if you look at the trade, the synthetic, actually, this does not show. I'm actually doing, this is not even including the call credit. So I saved even more. This is just the synthetic, and then it's the spread. So between those two, 3,153, I saved 9,347. But again, I'm making money on covered calls. And that's not even, showing as far as the savings is concerned. All right. Last but not least, the newest edition, Robinhood, baby. I've been wanting to get into Robinhood. I've been wanting to trade options on Robinhood. I mean, but Hood is expensive. Robin's, the double leverage play is expensive. I just couldn't afford it. But now with this strategy, guess what? Guess what? I can freaking participate in Robinhood finally, because I'm a Robinhood fan. I have it. I don't use it as much as I use Charles Schwab, Thinkorswim, but I use it to buy Bitcoin and MSTR. And I always say they're the reason I got into investing. So I'll always have an appreciation for them. Plus, they're always the first. I mean, they got freaking gambling, like sports gambling on the app. Are you kidding me? They bet on the freaking election. Like they're nuts. They're involved with everything. So I trust the company, now long term, whatever. But so I'm trading it finally. I could have gotten a better deal yesterday, but again, we'll take a look. Robinhood, I did a buy call, sell put, buy put. Obviously, buy call, sell put, buy put. Again, same old process. I don't think I need to cover it again. So I chose a 145 strike. At the time, it was at 145, so that was essentially at the money. And then I bought it put 20% less, which is at 115. And just for the hell of it, let's just see what Robinhood is doing in the pre-market. It is a little red, so it's at 144.20. So my position is actually down. It's going to be down. But whatever. Again, this is a long-term play. You can see the expiration date I chose. Although, yes, they have earnings. When do they have earnings? I think I wrote it down. 11/5. So they have earnings next week, which, of course, I'm involved with that through the covered call, which we'll take a look at. So, but again, this goes out to May. So even if earnings tanks, yes, I have the put protection, but of course, do I think it's going to recover? Probably. Again, who the hell knows though? We'll see. So I spent about 1,740 for the synthetic position. Now let's see what I did on the covered call. Yeah, that's definitely not the right expiration date. Hold on. What the heck did I choose for Robinhood? November 7th. All right, November 7th. All right. Let me go to the comments real quick. Do you guys have any questions? Good morning, Bruce. Richard Woolley opened a Hood account yesterday. Nice. Who were you using before, Richard? SoFi. Yeah, I hear good things about SoFi. You guys feel there's any hope for Ulti? I mean, of course, yes, there is hope. It's just a matter of the timing of what they invest in and everything. But I did see that they were selling puts now. I'm super pumped about that. I think that's awesome. So I think, to be short answer, I think yes, of course, there's hope for Ulti. It just depends on what you expect out of the strategy. Like they own a lot of super high, like degenerate plays. So if you don't want to be a part of that, yeah, it could tank at any moment and it could struggle to recover. But it will give, if you're just about the high income, and I don't know. Again, it depends on the person for sure. But I think they're going to get better now that they added different, multiple other strategies such as selling puts, opening the door for other things. But yeah, which ult are we talking about? There's two ultis now, right? All right, let's get back to the trade here. So I sold a call on Robinhood. I did this all on one trade, I think. Pretty sure I did. And I sold a call. I did not do at the money. I did out of the money just a little bit. Just a little bit. I couldn't help myself. It's like a game of chicken. Yeah, just a little bit. Want that dollar, but I went 0.69% out of the money. How much did I collect on the premium? I mean, look at this premium. I mean, when you start messing with expensive stocks, look at this freaking premium, bro. It scares me to see this premium. I'm used to seeing like, oh, I got 50 cents per share. I'm looking at 8.40 now. I mean, damn. It's crazy, man. Crazy. All right. Anyway, I collected 840 on the covered call. But again, we'll net all that together to see how our current positions are looking. And then here's our current synthetic, because we opened a position on Robinhood. We of course, every time we update the spreadsheet, we want to see how we doing. Of course, I try to do this beforehand, but you guys have to suffer while I type this in. All right, what do we got? We got the buy call. It's worth 30.40. All right, 30.40. So which is less than what I paid for it, right? I paid 31.29. So I'm down 2% on the long call. All right, let's look at the sell put. Sell put, where the hell are you? There you are. It would cost me 27.575 to close this. All right. 27 point, what is it, 575. So it would cost me more to close it than what I got in credit. So I'm down on that too, about 2%. And then if I look at the buy put, this should be now worth more than what I paid for it. So if I look here, 13.475, if I go over here, 13.475. Yes, it is worth $34 more. Woohoo! We're up 2% on the put. But again, that's not winning, right? That means we're going down. But again, that's the protection. So we have a gap. We have a gap. What's the gap? 145 minus 115. Do the math. What is that? 30 bucks. 30 bucks times one contract. That's $3,000. So that's essentially the risk. Also part of the risk is the synthetic expense, 1,740. Now, again, so I add those two together, and that's essentially what I look at as the cost, 4,740, right? But if I was selling one put, one contract, 14.5 would be cash collateral, right? So how much am I saving capital-wise? 9,760. So if I actually add up the savings, it would be pretty ridiculous. In fact, I probably should do that on the last tab. Should I do that? Overall savings. Maybe I will. All right, we'll get into that. Call income. I did this for SB too because he's bugging my ass. How much did I make? But I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna track it by month. But so far for the month, you can see in options premium, I did generate $3,160, which for me, that's a lot of money. Like that is seriously a lot of money. Is it going to be that much every single month? I don't know. Again, some of these I'm going to have to roll and maybe actually take, a lesser credit than what I would have. Because again, some of the calls could be in the money. It all depends. It all depends. But again, we'll track that going forward. And then we'll add that into the overall portfolio. All right, now we get to the all realized. So now we can see where we stand. Again, this is a fund. This is my own personal fund. Now I consider it my ETF. Again, if I'm running my entire account, then I'm the fund manager of my account, right? So these are the holdings within my ETF. Of course, there's other crap in there because I'm still wheeling. But right now, I consider Rody just a separate thing. All right. Anyway, so if I look, this is tracking the synthetic collar, which do I want to put? Yeah. So again, I guess that's what we're calling it. It's the synthetic combo plus the protective put. So it's the expense of everything, right? And then this will show you how much I made on covered calls. Again, the idea is you're going to make well more than what you paid for the original position in credits, and you will continue to as long as you can. But then I'm tracking also the put spread risk, which is the overall downside risk that I am getting involved with. So if I look down the line, you can see that E.L.F is green, right? So why is E.L.F green? Because again, when I opened that beginning position, it was an overall credit. Typically, that's not the norm. But the reason it's an overall credit is because it's not as long dated. The expiration date on that only goes to January. So that's kind of a short-term play, just something different. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, I could always add to it. I could always close it early, but it could do whatever the hell I want. It's my fund, right? But yeah, you can see overall total profits, losses. I'm currently down, right? 2,637. And when I say down, this is just like actual realized income and expenses, right? But overall, this is going to switch in the positive as time goes on. Which one will flip positive next? Probably open, because I started that one first, and you could see they pay a freaking beautiful premium. So I expect that one to be in the green very soon. And then, of course, we do the total at risk. So if once I flip these green here, this is the total, actual, income loss. This involves the put spread risk. So again, even if I get green here, I want to know, can I get green for the whole thing? Which means even if, um, that we go down, it won't matter, because I'll have made enough that it doesn't even matter. We'll call that, essentially, that's really house money at that point. Because you could do whatever the hell you want, man. You could do whatever the hell you want. So that's the idea. And I also did add exposure. So the exposure only takes the total at risk. So I'm not adding it like any other way, because this is how much am I currently at risk with any of these positions. And my biggest risk right now is Robinhood. My second is SoFi. My third is E.L.F, and the last is open. So now if we go up here, since I'm doing that, I might as well add the sectors. So you can see I have two financial sectors, being SoFi and Robinhood. E.L.F is consumer staples, and then open is real estate. So I may, again, diversification, yes, overrated, absolutely. But I wanted to just get an idea, just like if all of these said financials, I'd be like, okay, wait, let me venture out just a little bit, right? Maybe that's why it's there. So, but whatever, that's in due time. Oh yeah, one thing, should we add the capital saved, just like as an informational piece here, capital saved? I think that would be really cool. All right, so if we go here, we go sum, and then we're going to go to where is it, under this not SoFi, open holdings, and then you go here, and you can just drag it down in case we open more positions, do something like that, right? They get 2,400. And then we'll add SoFi. We'll do some SoFi holdings. Again, this won't take long. Just give me a sec here. Where do we go to row 16? It's good enough. All right, so then we added that, and then we'll add E.L.F. How much did we save on E.L.F? Go there, down to, SB only shows up for the Rody, but I'm glad he does. He can correct me if I say something wrong. All right, we got to get M Cheese in here. How do we get M Cheese here? Or maybe he is here under a different name. He doesn't tell us. He's in the options chat, in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so then we'll do equal sum, and this will add up a 16. Actually, this should go to H, because there's some hidden cells here. H. Well, if I knew how to type, that would help too. Okay, so now we will format this. We will go like this, get rid of decimals, because who really gives a crap about decimals? All right, so capital saved, and this is big. I know maybe you're not seeing it, but like, I'm saving a lot of money. Like, I don't trade options on expensive stocks for a reason, right? And the reason is this. Like, look how much money, this is saving me so much money in capital. And as mentioned, again, you'll see, like, what am I going to do with that extra capital? I'm starting to add to the money market fund that Charles Schwab has, that pays about 4%. Of course, they did drop interest rates, so I'm sure that's going to go down, but whatever. It's, essentially risk-free in a way, and why not? And also, the other benefit is Charles Schwab considers that as good as cash when it comes to collateral. So if I sell puts, it can use that. I don't have to transfer it out to hold it, anything as collateral. That'll be treated as collateral. However, if I get assigned and I need the cash, I'll have to make the move to sell the some of the money market fund. All right, does that make sense? I did also add the sectors in case you guys were wondering, like, what do you mean sectors? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're not familiar with sectors because we don't really, we're just such, we've been degenerates for so long, just caring about high yields and this and that. But, these are the sectors, which I'm not saying I'm going to get a freaking stock in all of them, but, we're just going to log them down and see, all right, we have financials, right? What else do we have? We had real estate, and then what consumer, what do we have? Consumer staples, E.L.F. I didn't even know what the hell E.L.F. was until freaking SB had to tell me. I guess it's a girl thing, makeup, but whatever. That's how much of a degenerate I still am. I'm trading things I don't even know what the hell they are. But hey, it's all for fun, right? Fun and entertainment. All right, so that's the update on that. If you look at the watch list, I did add Meta. I'm in, but look how expensive Meta is. Oof, oof, oof. So why did I add Meta? Well, Meta's tanking. So I am considering, oh boy, look at that. It's down 8%. I don't know what happened on their earnings, but they are tanking. Oh, So, I am considering adding position since they're tanking. I don't know. I'm not going to get into any details on that, but I'm just going to mention that because next time you see me, I may have Meta in the portfolio. Meta is under technology sector. Okay. All right, whatever. So that's the update on Rody. Now we're going to go to my wheel strategy. All right. So again, I am still going to do the wheel strategy, probably just on the cheaper stocks, but yeah, I'm still going to do it because, especially on TSLL. All right, let me catch up on some comments. You're still going on with this makeup thing. I do draw the line somewhere. I know I do like to embarrass myself, but there is a line. Let's see. Work the makeup counter. Yeah, you'll get a lot of sales there. Let's see. Of course you do. I mean, this guy, you have more. You are a busy trader. Holy crap. I mean, you can't keep up with this guy. All right. Anyway, here you go. Meta is a good buy. They tanked because traps BBB taxes one time. Because traps BBB taxes one time. Whatever the hell that means. I love TSLL for this setup. Well, you love TSLL for your set. I don't know. I still like wheeling. Yeah, draw. I don't know who knew I had a line, right? But anyway, let's get to the freaking wheel. There's gonna be less and less stocks on this wheel. But long story short, Misty went bye-bye. Misty, I sold. I got out of Misty because again, I was eventually moving it to the dividend car account, which I have news on that too. But instead of selling cover calls to the death, I decided to actually just sell it all, right? Sell what's in the options account because this is an options account. As I've been saying, I'm only going to do this for actual options trades. This is an options play. But you can see I did take a loss of 1,882, but I figured with year end coming up, hey, why the hell not? Why the hell not? I'll take it. I could use any help I can get come tax time. All right, so that's gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide this tab because we're done. We done with that. Now we're on TSLL. Again, this is one of my favorites. I have 5 contracts expiring for Friday, tomorrow. I had 3 puts, a 13, a 14, and a 15. I paid a penny earlier on in the week to close them. Just in case, right? Just in case Tesla tanks, a penny was, to me, it was worth it because I kept 97% of the profit. So you can see this was a buy to close. So all I did is paid a penny plus whatever the hell a fee is in the brokerage, which is ridiculous. But we'll work on that. I was told my my fee would be lowered once I do more trades and once my portfolio value is higher. So hopefully I can achieve those two things in the future, and I can get, my fee down, my options commission fee. So what we'll do is we'll hide this. This is we'll move on from that, and we'll see what's left for Friday. And if you look here, we have 2 covered calls. All right. One is 16 and one is 17. If I look at TSLL in the pre-market, it is red. It's at 2176 though. 2176, well above this and this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to roll it. I'm going to roll it. Why is this not color coded? What did I do? Come on, Cletus, come on. Do I want to make it that color? Yeah, there you go. Nice ugly orange for Thanksgiving. But what do we got here? So I got a 16 and a 17, and they're in the money. They're in danger of assignment. Do I want to get them assigned? Do I want to take the money and move? Or do I want to roll them out? I'm going to roll them up and out. I'm going to roll them out to either 11.28 or later. And I'm going to move the strike price up probably just $1. Because it's TSLL, it'll come back down too at some point, I think. But will it come down to this? I don't know. But I want to get a little closer to the range that it's been trading at. So I'll slowly increase the covered call strike and hopefully collect a reasonable premium. All right. So that's the thought on that. I got all of these other suckers, but these are for the following weeks. You can see I have a lot of contracts on TSLL. But again, the reason, I'm not doing TSLL on the other. Number one, I'm not comfortable with doing leveraged on that strategy yet, like doing, because it's already a leverage play in a sense. So I'll have leverage on leverage on leverage. But I also think this is a little more affordable that I can still do the wheel and have fun with it, because I have fun wheel trade, on the wheel strategy. It's not as complex either. So I don't know. That's my thought on that. So for TSLL, how much did I make this week so far? I made about $50. I know that's not a lot of money, but better than nothing, right? Let's just double check the formula though. Yep, $50. One stinking trade. I sold a put. All right, let's look at TNA, Dynamite. Not much going on here except my last 100 shares. $50 strike expires on 11/14. I got 2 puts at 35. Again, not much action here. Not much I could do on TNA. Open, again, you see I have a position on open on the other, on Rody. So I'm really trying to get out of this on the wheel. I don't want to do one on the wheel and one on the other because it just gets confusing. I'm trying to keep it a little simple to track. And, I barely have enough time as it is to track these. So I just want to probably, I'll get rid of open at some point. These expire Friday, though. I have a covered call at 15. I should probably just roll it down to 8, right? I don't know. We'll see. ST. Hey, what can you say about this one? This thing started coming back up. In fact, yeah, let's see what it's doing. Still red. It's going back down. But it did go up. It was at like 160. Now it's at 121. But when it was at that 160, or what was that? No, it was at 150. I sold a call. I had 100 shares. I sold a call at 150, and I got $28. So why the hell not, right? That annualized me 1,176%. This thing has an insane IV. So what am I going to do with this? I don't know, because again, I got 7 contracts expiring tomorrow. This means I'm going to get assigned 700 shares with an average cost basis of $3. But if you look down here, my cost basis, taking premium into consideration, which a lot of people do, to be honest, my cost basis will be $9. And wait, what? What am I doing here? Premium credit per share. What are we doing? No. Oh, that's because I didn't. The 700. Once the 700 is there, it'll make sense. But hey, whatever. So yeah, for the week, I made $28. And then BMNU, I haven't made another trade because their options change sucks. They only go out a month at a time, and they only go up to a certain strike. Hopefully they fix that. But yeah, I'm not going to add more risk to that position yet. And then I got leaps. These all suck too. But yeah, here's my open positions. Basically, I have 14 contracts on TSLL, 3 on TNA, and then 3 on BMNU. All right. So again, these may be the 3 that I'm wheeling going forward, and then the rest of the account may be, trading the other suckers. All right. I didn't update the balance, so I'm not going to go through that. Weekly income. Yeah, I'm at 78 bucks. The goal is 418, but things have changed a little bit. You can see I'm making income elsewhere, so it doesn't really matter as much. We're also approaching a month end. So again, I'll explain all the changes I have made recently in another video. But, that's it. So anyway, I wanted to just pull up earnings calendar. Let's see, earnings calendar. So again, just something to talk. It's Thursday. So Apple's coming up after the close today. Amazon after the close. Before the open, we got Eli Lilly, MasterCard, Shell, Merck. Who else before? This should be sorted by that, but hey, whatever. All right. Anyway, how was that? How was that coverage? Give me some feedback here. All right. I'm gonna catch up on some comments while you do. It's not true on the vids. I just don't comment often, to be honest. I don't really care to see YieldMax stuff. It doesn't work. Okay. All right. Good to know you're still a supporter, right? 37 synthetic collars on TSLL. Nice. I'm sure they are paying bank. I'll get there one day. But do SoFi weeklies safer more? What the hell? I don't even understand what that says. Coffee. Please repeat the question. Arkunu Gaming. Kids are going nuts upstairs. My 250 ASST cover call tomorrow is still safe. Yeah, I'd say so. Parabolic says excellent. Thank you. Definitely, SB. There's dividend degenerates. What's going on, man? Have a safe commute unless you're at work already. 2 regrets this year of not buying Google and AMD was too focused on NVIDIA. SB has learned a ton over the last couple of years himself. Yeah, I mean, we're all still learning. As much as maybe one person may know over another, everyone's learning every single day. As long as you're involved, you're going to learn from someone or by doing something. I'm learning every single day, and I'm having even more fun. Who would have thought I can have even more fun than I have been? But anyway, continue in the comments. Yeah, again, if we are live, I'll stay live a few more minutes. But any feedback on this video, like, did I go too fast? Did I go too slow? What do you want me to cover? Like, do you have any interesting plays for me? Does anyone else do this type of trade? And what do you call it? More premium and lower margin for SoFi weeklies. Also safer than TSLL. Yeah, safer because it's not leveraged. I've been enjoying the greater focus you have been giving to your options trading. All right, that's good to hear. Thank you, Biggest Woody. Goog. You got one Goog. That's it. Come on, man. Come on, get 10. I got burnt by TSLL at the start of the year. Well, it came back. So I guess you sold out for a loss. Don't commute till noon. Damn. And you're up early? Thank you. Going to the gym after? Going for a run? Thoughts on what? Who the hell? What intonation? CMBM. What the hell is that? Cambium Networks Corp. What the hell? Designs, develops, and manufactures wireless fire. I have no freaking idea. I have no thoughts. How about that? All right, let's take a look at the year to date. Holy crapola. They're up 357%. 1 year, 144, 141, 5 year. What the hell? 5 year, they're down. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I got nothing. Wait, what the? Look at the pre-market. They're up 100%. Well, if you're in that, congratulations. Holy crapola. All right, let's see. You would like to see annualized yield on those premiums. Well, I did. Maybe I didn't show that on all the trades, but I will. It's on the sheet. Yes, you will. You will get there. 2 miles down. Awesome, brother. Keep going, man. Keep going. Yeah, I'm done. I'm not trading MSTU anymore. I can't do it. I'm done. I'm buying MSTR, but that's it. I'm just buying it. You know, if I ever get 100 shares of MSTR, yeah, I'm definitely selling cover calls. But as far as trading it, timing it with options, I just don't want to do it, man. I'd rather do. It's too wild. My TSLL average was 26, and then it tanked to 16. I took the L, no regrets, lowered my taxes. It's a good way to look at it, man. Good way, good attitude. I am learning, but being a bit thick, it's going to take me a long time. Yeah, I'm the same way, Richard. You know, like I don't want to give in on anything, but once I gave in on this, I'm like, wow, okay, it's time to party. So, but yeah, Richard, if you're in the Discord, join the options trading channel and chat. Trust me, you'll have a fun time in there. LA Appliance. Yeah, I want to know your thoughts too, LA Appliance guy. We got to get you involved more in options. I know you do some options, but I'm curious. Maybe if you're available Tuesday morning, you could join the conversation. I'm curious to hear what kind of options trades you do. Let us know if you're free, 6:30 on Tuesday. SB, you too, 6:30 a.m. Tuesday. That's the plan, at least. Things can change. Let's see. All right, you'll join. Yeah, it's the free Discord link you'll see it in the profile. And no, I won't direct message you. Neither will any of the moderators. So please keep that in mind. You're welcome, Bruce. Thanks for being here. All right, I think we'll end it. What do you guys think? Let's check out Bitcoin one more time. Refresh this sucker. 110 still. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we'll try again next time. Again, the idea is going forward, options discussions will be a completely separate video, which most of the time it will be live. Sometimes it'll be pre-recorded, but depending on if I have to go to the office or not. But if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down below in the comments. All right. What else? If you enjoy this content, of course, let me know via the like button, or you can hit the heart on X. And if you want to help out the channel, if you want to help it grow, share with your friends, share with your family, share with your social media friends as well. Why the hell not, right? Anyway, it's keyword time. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. Since SB is here, I'm gonna give him the honor of doing the keyword, because again, he's the one that told me about this strategy. Well, I think he told me about it for 2 years now, but I finally listened, acknowledged his message, and haven't turned back. But since SB, you the genius here. Nope, not doing that. Nice try though. You got to come up with a keyword. All right, I'm gonna make up my own. You got to come up with something that doesn't involve makeup. But yeah, we'll give him a second here before we log our asses off and get our asses to work. But because we can't sit on freaking YouTube and Twitter all day. I know a lot of people do that, but it must be nice, right? To just sit on freaking social media all day. Although, even if I was off, I don't think I would do that. I'd probably do like a couple hours here and there. That's the goal when I'm, by the way, retired. I'll be doing like live streams with you guys. And we'll just be doing options trades together and talking about best strategies, this and that. In fact, I have an idea for an upcoming Monday is to do just that. Do like a 2 to 3 hour live on a Monday morning and just shoot the shit, right? So if anyone has interest in joining that conversation, let me know. All right, so the keyword I think is going to be E.L.F. Because SB, I don't know why, but he loves E.L.F. I guess he loves makeup and beauty products and whatever, that whatever floats your boat, right? But anyway, it's E.L.F. because we did a interesting trade, which I just spoke of earlier. So we'll leave it at that. So if you made it this far in the video, and wait, did we change the keyword? All right, I guess we changed the keyword. What's the keyword? Knowledge is power or E.L.F.? E.L.F.? All right, everyone wants E.L.F. So sorry, it's already E.L.F. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in the keyword down in the comments below. This is after the video. E.L.F., 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 E.L.F. The best Christmas movie ever. Yes, that's right. I said that. The best Christmas movie ever. Home Alone #2. And that's it. That's it. There's not even a third. There's nothing close. So, well, maybe Home Alone 2, right? So Home Alone 1, then Home Alone 2, or Home Alone 2, then Home Alone 1. But I'm putting E.L.F. first. I don't care. I hate Christmas Story. I don't care. It sucks. But anyway, E.L.F. is the keyword. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, E.L.F. is the keyword. I'm out of here. Get my ass to work. Thank you all for joining that have been here live. And thank you all for watching after the fact. But more Rody to come. Again, I'll do 1 to 2 updates per week going forward. And yeah, have a good one. I'm out of here. Later.